I'm coming at you live on tape from Sydney, Ohio. And today we're doing a movie everyone hates, and I don't see why. I actually enjoy the movie. Charlie's Angels reboot from 2019 that Elizabeth Banks wrote and directed and starred in. I don't see why people hate this movie. I think it's pretty good. Um, Girl power. I don't know. I think it's better than the original Charlie's Angels movies, honestly. But we'll get into that later. Our movie starts in Rio, where the most recent Godzilla movie ended. And no, we do not get to see the destruction of the Jesus statue again, which is sad. Where Sabina is undercover with a man, and he is seducing him as a decoy until Jane, former MI6 agent Jane, shows up, takes out his guards, and we meet Bosley, played by Patrick Stewart, and they get the goods on him from the safe, and we find out he's Australian Johnny, who's been embezzling from aid for refugees. And then we go to 1 year later in Hamburg, where we meet Elena, who's an engineer on a project that will give free energy. Well, not free energy, you have to buy the little Callisto thing. But it will revolutionize energy. But it can also be weaponized. Something her boss is burying in her reports. But she gets a card for the Townsend Agency. And then we go to LA, where Patrick Stewart's Bosley is retiring. Charlie presents him with a watch. And we meet a bunch of other Bosleys, including Elizabeth Banks, the black guy who seems to be the black guy in every movie now. I guess he's the new Samuel L. Jackson. His name's hard to pronounce. Djimon Hounsou, I guess is his name. Djimon Hounsou. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Michael Strahan's apparently a Bosley. There are a bunch of other people in this scene. And they drink to Patrick Stewart's retirement. And then we go to Paris, where we see Jane training with Djimon Hounsou. And we find out they've got a new client, probably an Elena, who was given a Townsend Group card by her boss, Peter Fleming's secretary, to report the issue of it causing seizures in people. And he says he's putting together a group with Sabina and Jane again. So we'll go back to Hamburg, and they're undercover as Bosley, the black Bosley, the new Samuel L. Jackson Bosley, is meeting with Elena and discussing what she wants to do. But Jane, who's undercover as a waitress, sees there's a guy recording the entire conversation between Bosley and Elena. So they get out of there. But the guy's an assassin, gets in a firefight with Jane, gets in a fight with Jane in the cafe, and then chases them down in an urban assault vehicle loaded with a tactical machine gun. Now, I'm not kidding. I think it's a tactical Gatling gun. And his own gun. And this chase is pretty good, actually, before eventually knocking their vehicle, shooting Bosley in the throat, and knocking their vehicle, the Angels in Bosley's vehicle, into the river. And then Sabina shows up on I'm not sure if it's a scooter or if it's a motorcycle, and knocks the assassin down. And then the assassin blows up his assault vehicle and walks away, only for Bosley to be dead and Jane to rescue Elena. Then Bosley, Elizabeth Banks Bosley, shows up when they're out in the middle of the country. Elena's throwing up and rescues them, talking about how it must be a mole in the group. And they look up the assassin. He has no name, but for some reason they call him Hodak for the rest of the group, for the rest of the movie. And they find a way in to the Brody group, or the Brady group, whatever the name of the company. I think it's called the Brody Group, the Brody Corporation, where Elena works, by disguising themselves as another employee. So Elena still has her key card, and Sabina and Jane steal other people's key cards to get the prototypes, which have been stolen, except for Elena's in her lab, in another good spy little thing, which results in the death of Ralph, a security guard, when Elena overloads the door with the prototype. And of course, Ralph is too close, so it causes his death. Then they head to Berlin, where we meet the Saint, the man who takes care of them mentally, spiritually, and physically, who has prepared a feast for them. And they track the boss, who they figure stole the prototype, Peter Fleming, from his plane ride in Hamburg to Istanbul, where Jane has a former contact who they have to bribe, well, get her operation of helping young women and mothers. Apparently she's a doctor. Help her get her operation up and running again to find Peter Fleming, which they do, and they track him down to the Turkish Derby. Yes, folks, Istanbul is in Turkey, where they then track his car down, which is another good spy scene. This is a good spy movie. Now, everybody says Bond is good spy movies. Bond has not been a spy since the Sean Connery era. After that, he just kind of turned into an action hero. He was just shoot first and beat them up. Especially in New Bond. The New Bond just shoots everybody and beats people up. He's not a spy. Spies go undercover. They look at targets. They track phones. They do all sorts of information. They don't just shoot and beat them up. And that's what they do in this movie. They don't just shoot and beat them up. I mean, there's plenty of scenes where there are action scenes and they're shooting and beating up. But that's not the purpose of them going undercover. So they're at the Turkish Derby. They trace Peter Fleming into this Jeep, but Elena misses the target of the assassin. And so the Jeep it's a Mercedes, and the Mercedes, they're tracking it. And they track it down to this rock quarry, where there's a big action scene. Johnny Australia's back, but he gets away. The assassin gets away with Callisto. Peter Fleming's dead, and Bosley's taken off somewhere. So the girls make it back to the base in Istanbul, and there's a big explosion. Bosley shows up outside as Elena stumbles out the door, or the hole in the wall. The hole in the wall as it is. And Bosley, Elizabeth Banks Bosley, tells her to get out as she pulls her gun. And then we see her get shot. And Patrick Stewart Bosley, there are a lot of Bosleys in this movie, tells her he's Bosley and to come with her. And she loses her little bracelet communicator. And then we see the assassin come out of shadows and get in a car. Then we see Jane get up and rescue Sabine and take her to the doctor. Patrick Stewart, meanwhile, takes Elena to some house, to a mansion, tells her to clean herself up, get dressed, and we see the assassin there with Callisto. She's going to get Callisto working for Captain Picard. Sabina is only saved because of the bulletproof bra they wear. And Jane cries over her as she's unconscious. But then Sabina wakes up, and they have a good little, funny little routine here. But Sabina admits she's really annoying, which she kind of is, but she's kind of also the comic relief here in this movie. She's played by Kristen Stewart, and Kristen Stewart actually is fairly entertaining in this movie. She's not really that annoying. And then the Saint comes in, admitting that's not Brazil, where they told him they were going, and brings in Elizabeth Banks Bosley, who says that Bosley tried to kill her. Patrick Stewart Bosley tried to kill her. There are a lot of Bosleys in this movie. You have to keep all the Bosleys straight. And that he is the one who is buying Callisto. And reveals that they went back to Brody's mansion in France to activate Callisto as a weapon. So Bosley can have Callisto turn over control of Callisto. So Bosley can have Brody turn over Callisto to him, which Bosley then tries to do with Elena's help. But not before the angels get in there and try to get into and set off the safe alarm for Brody's safe, getting the assassin to go on there. And Sabina takes the assassin's key, and Jane takes out the assassin. Meanwhile, Bosley and Brody, assured that Callisto is going to go off and wipe out Elena and Bosley's hostage, the guy that Jane flirted with when they were in the Brody Corporation. My mouth is getting dry. It's been dry for hours. They go back to the party. Sabina rescues them, and Elena assures her that she didn't set it up for Bosley. She just set it up to light up and make noises. So then we have the big Bosley standoff. Elizabeth Banks Bosley versus Patrick Stewart's Bosley. Now Patrick Stewart's got all these guards. And the lights go out, and it's revealed the whole room's filled with angels. Johnny Australia turned on Bosley. Patrick Stewart Bosley. He's now helping the angels. And then they recruit Elena into the angels. And if you watch during the credits, they show Elena's training in the angels. That's pretty much the movie's end. It's a really good movie. It is not like the original Charlie's Angels movies, which were just about women shooting people, fighting people, and being sexy. It actually tells a good story. It has good funny moments. And it is not just women in skimpy outfits shooting people and hitting people. I mean, if you want to see women half naked shooting people and hitting people, you should just watch nude nuns with big guns on Tubi. Their women are naked and they are shooting people and hitting people. Or watch some porno that has a high budget about women shooting people and hitting people. I want to watch an actual movie about strong women being spies, and that's what this movie is about. I don't want to watch a Bond movie about spies, because Bond isn't a spy anymore. If I want to watch a Bond movie about spies, I got to watch a Sean Connery movie, and I've seen those movies 1 billion times. And if I want to watch a women's spy movie, there's really not many to choose from. Because most of them are about women half naked shooting people and hitting people. And if I want to watch that, I might as well just watch nude nuns with big guns. This is an actual women spy movie about women spies. And it's actually good. I suppose people hated it because that's what it's about. The only part of this movie I don't like is the beginning when they're showing the opening scrawl for the opening thing where it says Charlie's Angels. There's an annoying pop song and it shows a bunch of women and girls being women and girls. That's the only thing I don't like about this movie. Other than that, the movie's great. It's about women spies. If you want to watch a movie about women spies, go watch this movie. If you want to watch women being half naked and shooting people and hitting people, go watch Nude Nuns with Big Guns on Tubi. This movie's great. I give it 12 out of 10 stars. It's great. Go watch it. It's on Hulu. Now the rant's over. I suppose we can get to the song. Get the old keyboard stand out. And the old keyboard out. Turn the old keyboard on. This is a long video because of that rant. Turn to the right song. Open it up so the lights don't blind the lyrics. Remember how the song goes. Girls need role models too. Someone who just doesn't do housework, sewing glue. Someone who's tough, isn't afraid to fight, but can show emotion when something's not right. Then their voices are not heard, but their role models need to be loud without saying a word. Need to be strong and stand tall, not see a man's arms and immediately fall. When did men decide who everyone looks up to? Did men decide girls could be strong too? We need more strong women. Without them, our girls would just be nothing. Boys have all sorts of role models in the spotlight, but girls have very few, and that's not right. Girls should have plenty who stand their ground. Who it takes a woman to run a town. There should be one token female, should be one token male. When did men decide who everyone looks up to? Did men decide girls couldn't be strong too? We need more strong women. Without them, our girls would just be nothing. Women outnumber men in population. Should take charge without hesitation. Take the keys and lock 'em up. Take no lip from them or butting up. Run the world from now on without the men. I bet the world would be a perfect 10. When did men decide who everyone looks up to? Did men decide girls couldn't be strong too? Be more strong women. Without them, our girls would just be nothing. So that's the song. Wow, this video is long. Too long. We'll have to cut something. We'll cut the movie. No, we won't. I'm kidding. The movie's the whole video. So yeah, the movie's really good. Watch the movie. Next week's movie, The Greasy Strangler on Amazon.